Good afternoon. Because the sunshine has gone and fled, here I am, back in the shed. I thank Alex Phillips for that one. Anyway, moving on. Give you an update on what's happening with the layout. I'm making some alterations, and I've done a major rewire as well. If I just turn the camera around, and of course this is much easier now I've learned how to flip the thing. So here we go. I'm just going to pop me around. Yeah, so this little gubbins here is where the feed goes in to run trains digitally. Ta-da! Anyway, yeah, so I've done a major rewire, and I've yet to test the digital locomotives that I've got. But at the moment I've still got some, I'm still running out, because I can run, I've wired it so that I can either run analog or digital, so which is a good thing, because then all of my locos can run. An engineering work area at the moment. Basically all it is a bit of a cheat, that, because all I've done is just move these trains here. I've just moved them up from this end, because they were in the sidings, and of course they're in the way. I don't know if one or two of you who might have seen the video of this end of the layout, but there was a back scene all the way along here. Well, that was starting to curl over, and wasn't very good, and also the sun and the light was making it fade. I've just temporarily put it over here, but that's not staying there. I've just put it there out the way, but as you can see, it don't like the sunlight. Same thing's happening with the station building. I've got to finish. I still haven't finished the station building. It's got to have the chimney pots on it yet. I must get down and get that done, but so many other things have been going on. So what I'm going to run along here is it's going to be a brick wall, because that way, if anything goes wrong in the sidings, I can get to the stuff easier, and it's going to be much easier to work with everything. But as I say, I've got various things that have got to be done. I've yet to put in these buffer stops with a built-in red light, and the way things are wired, they'll light up when the train is running towards them, but they won't light up when the train's running away, because they don't need to be on then. So and that happened quite by accident, actually. So it's just the way they work. So what I'm planning on doing, I've got these strips of wood which I salvaged from a project we're doing at the railway club, and what I'm going to do, I've got these sheets of N-gauge brickwork. I'll see if I can get it to focus on that. It doesn't focus very well. No, you can't see that too well. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see, and that's N-gauge brickwork sheets. So what I'm going to do, I've got a couple of them cut out already, and they will be stuck on this wooden board, and then they'll be facing onto the layout, and they'll be sort of from looking through the window from that side. You'll see sort of from about there up, because this lower part will be the bit that's fixed to the layout board. I know this looks a bit tatty, but I wasn't overly worried about that, because that won't be seen. chap that I work with, he'd be going, oh, because when I say work with, I mean at the club. He's, bless him, he's very, he's a perfectionist, and he doesn't like to see things done sort of badly. But I mean, he's not going to see that. He might hear about it if he looks at this video, but anyway, yeah, that's my friend Alan. He's an engineer, and he likes seeing things done properly. Well, you know, that started off being done properly, but it went, when I was cutting it, I should have carried on using scissors, but I used the scalpel, and that didn't go quite as planned. But as I say, that the next ones that I put on the boards, I shall use a new blade in the scalpel, I think. Yeah, that'll be the answer to that, and then they'll be done properly. I mean, this was just a trial to see how it looked. But anyway, that is where we are at the moment. What else have I got going on? I've got one of these, right? Now, those of you, I can never remember what class engine these are, but this is, believe it or not, is DCC ready. So you can get a chip in there, but you know where the chip is. I don't know if you can see. It's, no, you won't be able to see on the camera. Let's just try. Well, anyway, where the chip is, it's right inside this cab. It's right inside the cab there. And to get at it, you've got to take all the bottom off, and it's not the easiest job in the world, because the screws are so tiny. You know, it can be done, but the screws are so tiny, and my hands not being as nimble as they were, the screws do end up on the floor, and that really irritates me. So I thought, right, I'm not going to bother with that. I'll leave that well alone, and I'll just run that when I'm running analog. It runs well on the club layout. And talking of which, that's a different project altogether, because Alan and I have decided that we're going to make it wider. We're going to make it a bigger layout. Basically, what we've done, because it was in two halves anyway, you know, that could be put together and coupled up wiring wise, because my own layout, it isn't mobile, it's fixed, so that won't be going anywhere. But anyway, the club layout, the new N-Gage layout, that has appeared at an open day and a model rail show that we held at Thetford. And what we've decided is that we're making a new section to go in the middle of the two halves, and that will give it another 2 feet on the layout. I mean, the layout, it's at the moment, or as it was, I think it was about 4 feet long, and it was about 3 feet deep. Well, now it's going to be 6 feet long. Well, strictly speaking, it's going to be 6'6", because we're going to put a 3-inch extension on each end of the layout, as well as this 2-foot extension piece in the middle. So that's going to be quite a sizable layout. So I've got to get on to Anne at Great Eastern, plug for Anne there, to get some additional track. I'm going to phone her during the week and ask her how much a box of N-Gage track is. It's going to be cheaper in the long run to buy a box rather than buy individual pieces. So yeah, so we've got all that to do, and we've already completed, except for the top, but we've completed the first part of the extension, because although it's going in the middle, that in itself is in two halves, which will be permanently attached to the existing two halves, if you see what I mean. And then the track's going to be extended across and joint and linked up. Be a soldering job as well, because it's got to run cables and things, extend all the cable work, so that should work all right, because we've got to have it so it still plugs in and so on and so forth. But yeah, we'll have some people might say, well, you don't really need to extend the wiring, but if you're running DCC digital, you really do, because on all the track, like I've done with my own layout, you've got to have bus wires, just so that, because sometimes you can get a problem with the track where through one reason or another the loco will go round and it will stop, or it'll hit a dead spot. So it's better to sort of make sure all your track is live, and then that should eliminate any dead spots. 9 times out of 10 it does, but you sometimes see at model rail shows where, embarrassingly for the operator, a train starts off and it will go round, and then all of a sudden it will stop dead, right in a section where it shouldn't do. So then they've got to mess about trying to find out why it's done that, So I know how that feels, because I've had it happen on here. So it's and it's usually just a simple little thing that can be put right in a matter of minutes, but really you don't want it happening at a show, because you want the thing to be working properly from the moment you set up. So there we are. We had we took one of the other layouts. I say we, well, there was a team of about let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us. There were 7 of us over at Bressingham Steam Museum here in Suffolk a couple of weeks back, and because we've got a permanent layout over at Bressingham. It belongs to Bressingham, but our club made it for them. It was a few years ago now, but that can either be run analog or digital. But what we were running over there on that day was analog, because one of our club members, he only runs analog himself, like I used to, and that's in 00 gauge. And I still have 2 00 steam engines, and so that gives my ones a chance to have a run. I've got a DMU as well that's in 00, but that hasn't run for a while, so that needs to go over there and have a thrash round there. Yeah, so there we are. That's the latest news from me. On this channel, you probably might have seen a couple of real world videos where I was visiting some friends in Stockport. Yeah. Some people I used to work with, and that's near Manchester. So I went and had a day in Manchester Piccadilly. There was 2 reasons for that. I wanted to go and have a look at the trams again, but I was also hoping to see another friend of mine. I've not actually met, I only sort of know her through a YouTube channel, and that's Jen on the Move, and she does a lot of videos on well, a lot of places you go to either on a bus or on a train or on a tram, and she does these little competition things. Can a train beat a tram? Can a tram beat a train? You know, all that sort of thing. And yeah, and she spends quite a bit of well, she lives in the Manchester area, and she spends a lot of time in Manchester, especially Manchester Piccadilly, and she's a big fan of Costa Coffee, another plug, and the ladies who work the Costa stall in Piccadilly Station, they weren't sure who I was talking about at first, until I showed them a picture or showed them a video, and they said, "Oh yes, we know her. She comes here a lot." And I said, "Yeah, I thought so." But anyway, so that's that's one, you know, another reason I went there. Sadly, no, she wasn't about that day, which was a shame, because as I say, I did take some video of some of the trams down there that I used to travel up and down on them when I was going around moving vehicles all over the place. So I used to travel on them from time to time. So yeah, you know, Manchester's a huge city, but I don't mind it. It's a big city, but there seems to be plenty of room for people to move about. You know, it's not crowded. It's not like London. City of London, oh, it's a nightmare down there. When I used to drive trains to and from there, I was always glad when my shift was over for the day if I'd been into London, because people in London, I don't know, they've all got an attitude, you know, and there's no need for it. So anyway, I don't want to really get into that, you know, but yeah, it's just my opinion for what it's worth. But yeah, no, mind you, there was one or two things about a certain element in Manchester that I didn't quite like. But then again, that's unfortunately the ways that some people are. You know, stand at a bus stop, went for a bus, and you get in a queue with other people that have queued, and then you get all these other beggars come piling in nearer the bus due time, and they stand in front of you. I mean, you know, that's rude. You know. But anyway, it's enough about that. That's not why he called. Anyway, that's the latest update on the layout and what I've been up to. As I say, this week, the end of this week, Friday, I'm going to Birmingham to the NEC for the Classic Car Show. That's another interest of mine. I used to have a classic car. Sadly, I've got it now. Had to sell it, but I had a Triumph Spitfire. It was a nice little car, that was. But yeah, so I don't have that anymore. But I still maintain my interest in classic cars. I hope one day I might be able to pick up another classic vehicle at some point. I just have to sort of see how things go financially. There we are. Oh yeah, and one of the stands that I'm going to at the NEC is the Rover P4 Drivers Guild stand, because there's another well-known YouTube personality on there. That's Alex Phillips, and she and her partner Lyndon, I've given him a shout out as well. Between them, they've got at least 7 classic vehicles. Alex has got 4, and Lyndon, I believe, has got 3. I think he did have 4, but he's down to 3 now. I think it's 3. It might even be 2 by now, but anyway, I think he might be at the NEC as well. So I don't know that for definite, but I'll ask Alex when I see her how many he's got now. He's got a lovely little MG midget, and that goes really well. I've seen the videos of him in it, you know, because they do drive-by videos as well. And he did have a Rover P6 which he sold, and I think he did have, and I believe he's still got it. Although Alex might correct me on that, but he did have a white Metro, Mini Metro. Mini Metros are getting quite rare now in certain guises, because, as you know, like the cars that they sort of just like the original Minis, where they had like an Austin, a Morris, a Riley, and a Wolseley, and a Vanden Plas as well, I believe. Did they have a Vanden Plas? No, I don't think they did. Not in the Mini. But I know they did in the 1100 range. They did have a Vanden Plas, and the 1300 range as well. That was sort of like a bit. It's all right. It's a fly. Bloody flies. Because I had an 1100 and 1300 bigger. So that was a four-door car. Which was very popular at the time. They were a bit bigger than a Mini, well, quite a bit bigger than a Mini. A nice sort of family saloon. I had one of those back in the day, as they say. But so anyway, I'm starting to digress. So Lyndon had a white Metro. I might think about getting something like that, or a Fiesta, or something like that. Fiesta's getting popular again. There's I remember the original Fiesta when that came out. Very, very nice car for the day. That was back in the 70s. Believe it or not, I worked for Fords then, so when that Fiesta came out, what they did, Fords, they sent out a model. They sent out one of the production cars out to all the Ford plants, and I was at Basildon, and they sent one of these Fiestas out there. It was a yellow one, and everyone was quite impressed with it, especially as the plant that I was working at made parts for that car. They made the radiator, and I worked on that line. I was an inspector on the line that made them. That's one of the reasons why, there was a car sent there for us to have a look at. And what else can I tell you? Oh yes, and then getting back to Alex. Sorry, I've digressed. Yeah, Alex has got 4 classic cars. She's got a Rover P4. That's why she's going to be on the stand. She's got a Rover P6, which is purple. The Rover P4 is black. The Rover P6 is purple. She's got an Austin Allegro, and don't laugh, it's a lovely car. She maintains it very well. Her Allegro is one of those that was obviously not built on a Friday afternoon. The other vehicle she's got is a Land Rover Lightweight, which is in white. The Allegro she's got is that I don't know what shade of orange it is, but it's orange. But it does stand out. And so between the pair of them, they've got 7 classic cars. How the hell they manage financially to run these vehicles, I don't know. Lyndon's got a pretty good job actually, because he's a mechanic, fully trained mechanic, and I think the garage he works at, I think they specialise in looking after and maintaining classic vehicles. So they live in Gloucester. So anyone who lives in Gloucester, who lives in that same area, he's the guy to go and see. Alex, she is pretty much She let this slip us, so it's out there in the public domain, so she won't mind me mentioning it. But she's never actually trained as a mechanic, but she's all self-taught because if I get this right, her father's as a mechanic, and yeah, he is, yeah, because she's sometimes gone round to his place for him to help her get a certain job done where a bit of muscle was needed. I mean, she's not she's not frail, but sometimes it just needs a little bit more, impetus to shift a bolt or a nut or something, or if something is a bit heavy, But no, I mean, Alex is brilliant with her way she does her car maintenance and everything. And plus, I mean, she's got to be good because she works as an AA patroller. So she's out there. Sometimes she'll do a video from her van in her lunch break. She'll be parked up in her lay-by somewhere, and she'll say, "Oh, here I am in the van," which is why I jokingly did my thing about in the shed. So anyway, that's enough of the waffle. I've drifted right off of railways, but no, as I say, I have many other interests as well. Music is another one, but I'm not going to discuss that now because that's not why we're here. Yeah, so basically it was just to give you an update today on what's happening, and I'm looking at the time. Do you realise I've been blathering on here for over 27 minutes. Anyway, so I'll call it a day there, and we'll move on from there. When I've got a bit more work done on my layout, excuse me, that's no different to what Alex does when she has a cup of tea. She loves her tea. Anyway, yeah, so moving on. Yeah, when I get a bit more work done on the layout, I'll run another video, and yeah, I just sort of like to sort of do what I do and just put it out there, share it with you guys, all 8 of you. And I need to get some more subscribers, yeah, so there we are. So I'll end it there, and I'll catch you in the next video. Anyone who likes these sort of videos, just hit the subscribe thing on the bottom there, and if you hit the notification bell, give that a poke, then you'll know when I've done another one. This is, to be honest, this is the first one I've done for a few months, because I've had a lot of things going on, and I've been busy at the club and getting stuff done up there. Yeah. Anyway, as I say, I'll see you in the next video with another update. So until then, cheerio.